What is up, guys? Welcome back to Anime Rev 578. J as in short for Jameer. And I just actually got done watching the third episode of Soru. Basically, the anime where this guy named Soshite takes in a high school runaway girl and is basically harboring her. And so, with this episode 3, right away we had a little sex scene, right? And it looks like it was one of these dudes who had picked her up from off the street and basically had his way with her. And to see her just lying there, motionless, and essentially like she was basically raped, at least that's what the book claimed. It was very kind of it was a moment where basically it was kind of sad and messed up, because it's like, damn, like we took an episode like this, but this episode, really the highlight of this episode was more so getting a little bit more into Sayu, and I expect this theme to continue into the next episode, because it's important to, like I said in the last video, learn more about Sayu and what happened, how did she run away, because in this episode, Yoshida's co-worker basically likes him. I mean, we already knew that from episode 2, but like, she obviously is in love with him, and like, that's competition right there, but no, but with Sayu, she was saying in this episode, how she's just not used to having someone like Yoshida treat her in such a way that is without, reason. Like, there's no reason for him, Yoshida, doing what he's doing, and he's not expecting anything in return. And that's what got her very emotional in this episode, especially because she had never felt anything like it before. It's clear she's never been treated the way that she's being treated now. Just some very heartwarming scenes during this episode that just kind of, obviously Sayu is a very cute character. She's very likable. There's really nothing wrong about her personality or character that you might hate. But the only issue with her is, again, trying to find out why she ran away. She even said something about, basically there's no such thing as unconditional kindness. And, that's very relatable if you think about it in real life, because, I mean, there's not many people who will do things for others just out of the kindness of their heart. I mean, do you know people who would do something unconditionally without any kind of, like, expectation or any kind of, like, hey, what's in it for me? Like, what's my reward? Like, what am I getting back in return? Because, I mean, sometimes people just do kind things just to do kind things. They don't expect anything else in return. And I think, obviously we need more people like that in the world, because if there was a lot of them like that, then it'd be a better place overall. But that's a different story, obviously, because you got a whole bunch of different people out there. That being said, so you have it to where in this episode, also with Hige, his boss, there was a little scene, they didn't have a lot of dialogue between each other, Yoshida and Hige, where, basically he was just kind of walking by, and, she kind of just looked back, and she had, like, this worried look on her face, and, I mean, honestly, it goes back to what I said in episode 2, you guys know, I'm like, listen, why do you care? Like, you rejected him. Why do you suddenly care? And I just don't get why, women like her do that. But, anyway, you already know how I feel about that. But, so yeah, I mean, this episode was clearly about Sayu and just kind of at least getting a little hint into the past. Obviously, we didn't get a lot, but we got something that kind of gives us an idea about how dark her past was and how messed up it was. because she did say, that she had slept with other older guys, and then when they were done with her, they would just discard her. But with Yoshida, it's like he just enjoys her company, and that really hit her pretty hard this episode. You can tell on her facial expression towards the end, just the tears in her eyes and how her face was like kind of like a sad but happy face, and her smile at the end was kind of a genuine one. It wasn't forced. It wasn't like a fake one like Yoshida was talking about in the other episode. I think it was episode 1, where, with her seduction game, which is, obviously something that she's very good at. Even in this episode, she tried it again, even went below the belt with Yoshida. I was like, damn, girl. But, she really is just, I think she's kind of becoming in love, like, what I'm saying, in love with Yoshida. And this is exactly what I was saying in the last video. I was like, yeah, she's obviously going to fall for him easily. But the question is, will Yoshida fall for her? Because, again, this is a minor, somebody's a runaway, literally, they just mentioned something in this episode, Sayu was like, oh, you're being so nice, but too nice. Just like what I said in the last video. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was just saying, like, when is the fine line of being nice, but then, letting somebody stay over, but then realizing what you're really doing is illegal, and drawing the fine line between being nice and then being too nice to where it's actually pretty naive. I really like that scene in the last part of the episode where they were just kind of sitting and having a somber moment, just kind of, appreciating each other, so to speak. Especially Yoshida just giving her appreciation, because she was feeling very insecure. She was feeling very emotional this episode, and rightfully so. I mean, if you had a past like that, with that scene that we saw at the beginning of the episode, I mean, of course you're going to feel some sort of way about that, and you can just see that it clearly still affects Sayu in a way that's just very just very obvious, like just kind of like a, oh yeah, so she obviously has issues and problems, but at least my fears that I had in the last video, where I was like, dang, Sayu could have anything, what I'm saying, she had sex with all these strangers and it was probably unprotected. It looked like I did see a condom in the beginning. I know that's kind of ridiculous of me to even spot that, but I did see a condom, so it wasn't unprotected, I don't think. So, I mean, at least that's protected sex. Because my thing was, I was like, well, what if it was unprotected, And again, Sayu's very, she may have made poor decisions, and she may not know how to take kindness, unconditional kindness. Same thing was what Yoshida's coworker was saying, just of how nice he is and how easy it is to fall for him, even become obsessed with him. Because they're just trying to figure him out. They're just trying to see, why is he doing this? Why is he keep being nice? And even I was like that too, because I was like, man, there's not a lot of guys, in this situation that wouldn't fall for that. And I respect him in this episode for admitting that and telling Sayu the truth. Like, yeah, of course it's hard to resist. Like, any guy would want this type of thing. But he has a level head about him, and he's so down to earth that, he's also realizing before he even tries to do anything that it would be wrong. It would be like him taking advantage, and he doesn't want to be like that, and I can respect that. And Yoshida's already becoming a very likable character, and someone who isn't seen as this creepy older guy just taking advantage of a high school runaway girl. So yeah, so that's pretty much what this episode was about. Is about Sayu, and just kind of diving into her past a little bit, just kind of getting her feet in the water in regards to her past. Obviously, we're going to learn more and more as we go further into this series. But I just like what this episode did as far as an emotional standpoint and with the feels and everything. And it was touching, but it's also very, it's also like kind of realistic. Like, hey, like, this is the situation. You can get in trouble if you. So I like the way he put it. He said, you know what? Okay, when you're ready to go home, then leave. But until then, stay here. you have a place here. I appreciate you. You know, you do a lot for me already, and just you being here is enough. And I think that that's the right way to take it. Now, obviously, that can also be interpreted into, hey, you know, you can get comfy all you want. You can stay here for as long as you want. So, again, he has to draw that fine line and just try to see, like, you know, is he going to continue to just let her stay? Because when is she going to be ready, you know? Okay, yeah, right now she's not ready to go back home, but when is she going to be ready? You know, she could easily just pretend like she's never going to be ready to go back home and want to stay with Yoshida forever. And hopefully it doesn't go that route, because like I said, legal issues can come up and Yoshida can get his behind thrown behind the bars. So that's definitely a real possibility. But that was all that I had as far as reaction / review of this episode. If you feel like I missed anything, or if you feel like I could talk a little bit more on certain other elements of the episode, please comment down below and subscribe. Hit the like button, because I need reaction. I need some sort of feedback so then I can improve and continue to just, you know, pump out these videos and just continue to do what I love to do. But until the next video, this has been Anime Rev 578, J as in Jameer. So I'm going to sign on out here and end this video now. So thank you for tuning in.